And I'm like, I know it's going to be cheap, Spain. So I flipped to it, looked at the Spain's wines. They had the cheapest wine on the whole menu, $60. I go, I know that thing's $20 in the stores, but whatever, I'll get it.
For sure.
Sam comes out. They're like, what? Can you want me to walk you through the wine? I go, nope. Sorry for wasting your time. I'll take this one.
Look, I have this much money.
I have this much money. Please do not rob me.
That small boy is drunk.
I'm drunk. D-R-U-N-K.
There's only one beer left.
I drank the vodka. I was intoxicated. I drank all of those days in excess.
What's your drink, dude?
White Russian. Nice.
Welcome to the Local Drunks Podcast with your hosts, Daniel and Saul.
Hey everyone, this is Saul.
This is Daniel.
And this is the Local Drunks Pod.
Local Drunks Pod.
We are actually... Right? Don't go too deep because you get all modulated.
You don't like it. That's what she said, brother.
Jesus Christ.
You're all sex jokes, bro. You're all sex jokes.
We are, we want to apologize for absolutely nothing now. Let's do apology for
absolutely nothing at all.
Yeah, we are recording long distance because your boy Daniel is, where you at, man?
Oh shit, bro! I'm in fucking Olympia, Washington.
You're in Olympia?
Yeah, it's like next door. It's like a town over.
Damn.
I'm in Natureville, brother.
They got a freaking open carry over there or what?
Probably.
Good lord.
I'd be surprised. They carry bows and arrows on this bad boy.
Sexy.
Yeah.
I'm keeping it to the roots.
A bunch of people out here. I've been walking into places. I'm like, oh yeah, lightweight.
Yeah, no, it's pretty wild up there. I think Olympia is where Maya used to live.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Well, she was from Hawaii.
Nice place.
And then she moved up there, I think when she was like, I don't know, a teenager for sure.
Yeah, that's a shitty place to go for a teenager. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's cool. It's beautiful. It's just that, I don't know, there's stuff to do. I shouldn't say that. It's a nice town.
Yeah, for sure.
And they got farm co-ops.
A lot of farm co-ops. I believe that.
A couple of farm co-ops, but they're extremely expensive. It's one of the higher income cities, and so like everything's just kind of fucking pricey out here.
Mm-hmm.
That and the military, where it's really close to everything.
Funny because my brother was stationed up there in Fort Lewis, and he was he lived like just south of Tacoma.
Yeah, it's an easier way to do it. I mean, Fort Lewis is huge, dude.
Easier way to do it. If I could get sidetracked. So anyway, so Daniel's up in Washington. Before we jump into that, you can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Patreon at
Local Drunks Pod.
And if you are on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, feel free to rate us or, I don't know, just give us an honest opinion of what you feel about just, the show.
Let us know if you're vibing, bro. Let us know if you're vibing.
Yeah, let us know. The vibing with the 3 B's and the 5 N's. Then if you have any stories or anything to tell us, localdrunkspod at
speakpipe.com.
Yeah, speakpipe.com if you want to leave a message. And then at gmail.com if you guys want to email
us.
Oh,
yeah, that's okay.
We're a little out of practice.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks.
Yeah, it has been a little bit. That's the magic of show business. You never know when these are recorded. Quick white shot. Just kidding.
Some phlegm for you there. That's the beauty of these ice cold air.
Yeah, I bet.
Get this list when you phlegm it up.
So we're going to do something special for you today. We're going to do something special. We're going to do a rundown of my recent trip to Seattle to go see our boy Daniel up here while he's up here doing his familiar duties, taking care of these kids who are unclaimed.
These little skibidi toilet rizzes.
Yeah. He's running around.
These kids are crazy, bro.
Yeah, but I believe it. But found out he was heading up to Seattle, so ended up buying a ticket and went up there and did 48 hours in the great city of Seattle.
You were a goddamn machine.
I do what I can.
On a bender, on a fucking sea acorn, bro.
Yeah, it was on a sick one. It was gross. Dave asked, Dave was like, oh, hey, like, how was your trip? And I was like, well, I hit like 35 spots in like 48 hours. And he was like, oh, yeah, we call that.
Fucking hell.
He was like, we call that a bender. And I was like, yeah, pretty much.
That is definitely proper verbiage.
Yeah, fucking seriously.
Indeed,
but anyway,
bender.
So
But hey, you threw food in the mix too. It wasn't just straight drinking.
I know. Yeah, I got some food places in there. I think I went to 29 bars and restaurants and drank it out of the 35. And then the six were coffee shops or just straight food places.
Yeah. Sick. That's pretty savage, dude. I don't know how you still have it in you.
Yeah, you know, Wes went out for his birthday yesterday, and they went to fucking sidetracks. Sorry, guys, we're all over the place. They went to Epic, and they only hit 2 bars. I was like, damn, dude. I was like, what happened? And he was like, yeah. He goes, we spent too much time at the first bar, like an hour and a half. And I was like, oh, I was like, that's what happened with the Fernet crawl. We spent too much time on the first one, and I'm like, shit, we ain't getting this shit done.
Nah, we blew our load too fast.
Yeah.
You gotta edge it.
It happens to the best of us.
It does.
And the worst of us. Those guys deserve it, though. Those guys fucking deserve it. No, there we go. That's better. Okay,
yeah,
so.
Oh, he was Epic. I was like, there's a million restaurants in San Francisco. Brand new ones, all kinds of crazy adventures ones. And I was like, and you got a fucking Epic roast house. Then he posted a picture of the food, and I was like, touche, sir. That looks delicious.
He said it was hella good, and he said the price point wasn't super bad. So
it's also been there for a very long time, so I believe it's pretty good.
Dude, I interviewed for a head bartending position back there in like 2011.
Goddamn, me too. Not bartending for me, kitchen for me.
Kitchen for you.
That was back in 2010 or 2011 as well. Yeah, that's crazy. We would have met then if we would have got a job.
I got called back for a final, but then I had to turn it down because my aunt passed away. So I had to stay in town.
Oh, fuck. I would have picked that shit anyway.
Yeah, should have. Hindsight. Should have left.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Seattle. So I leave the Bay Area.
Sullivan's dead. Let you guys know that.
So, quick. I guess I could do a breakdown of what I think of Seattle.
Yeah, 48 hours, dude. How did you approach this? Training, the thought process.
So I actually ended up doing a lot of research with the first week or two beforehand. I went on Google Maps and just punched in bars, restaurants, and then coffee houses, and saved them all to a big list. And then I ended up talking to a couple people who were kind of familiar with Seattle, or at least the scene. Yeah. And then they sent me lists on Google Maps as well. We are for sale, Google. And just let some of that change off. Just what you lose in a day, just give us that. And then and then I ended up downloading a different app. And I'll mention it really quickly because some people might find it helpful, but it's called Wanderlog. We are for sale, Wanderlog. And it was created by a guy who just wanted to make a better itinerary app. The app itself is just okay. It's much better on PC, but you could add everything on PC, then look at it. But the only bad thing is that they have an AI-assisted itinerary maker. You punch in all the places you want to go, and then you hit Make My Schedule. And it kind of does it by proximity, which is cool.
Interesting.
But it doesn't pay attention to open times. So like it was like, oh, you're at this coffee shop at 8 a.m. and then you can go to this bar next because it's around the corner. It's like, yeah, but that bar doesn't open until 4, which is another problem I have with Seattle. So I will talk about that later, though. But I ended up just punching everything into looking at everything on Google Map, cross-referencing it. Oh my goodness, sorry. Looking at everything on Google Maps, cross-referencing it with the Wanderlog, and seeing what was open and not, and then I was able to move my itinerary up and down on Wanderlog, and that was a little bit easier. The app's $40 a year. If you travel a lot, I would definitely look at it. But if you don't travel very much, you can just do all this with a piece of paper. That's how I used to when I used to go travel. I had a big piece of paper, or I'd keep a list on my phone, and I just turn on airplane mode so I don't get charged international fees or whatever.
Damn, throwback.
Yeah, dude, that's how it goes. And then, so that's pretty much how I went about it. And then I got a list of about 50 places I wanted to go to. And then I was going to be like, okay, I got to try to hit at least 30 of these to make it worth my while.
Any prioritization on that list at all? Like, I want to do this one more so than the other, or is it just proximity for you?
There was really only a couple of places I wanted to hit for sure. Salumi, which is the first place I hit. Cannon, because everyone told me about Cannon whenever I said I was going to Seattle. They're like, well, if you're going to Seattle, let's go to Cannon. And then Canlis was the other one. But since you made a reservation for Canlis for Friday for me, I didn't have to worry about that. I just knew I had to be there by 8 on Friday, drunk or sober. So yeah, so that's kind of how I went about doing it. And then we also have a list if you guys are looking at going. There are some bars I missed just because you can't hit everything. And then also too, like there is a whole neighborhood I completely skipped. The Ballard, and that was primarily because I talked to like 3 different bartenders while I was bouncing around, and they're like, the Ballard's cool, but in all honesty, if you're not here for very long, and I was primarily taking public transportation because I wanted to spend as little as money as possible on Lyft. Yeah, and then I wanted to spend all that money on alcohol instead.
Yes.
So, they're like, the Ballard's cool. They're like, but it's a pain in the ass to get to on public transportation. And like those bars are near each other, but like they're really spaced out. Like 2 bars or 3 bars will be next to each other, and then like it'll be a big space. And they're like, you could walk it like 20, 30 minutes. He goes, but that's 20, 30 minutes if you're not drinking. And I go, yeah, that's true. So I had to skip the Ballard, unfortunately. But made me miss places like Walvis and Carpenter and a couple other spots that I really wanted to hit. And I stayed primarily in Lower Belltown, downtown Seattle, and also Capitol Hill. Spent all day Saturday Capitol Hill. But this episode I want to talk about Friday. But that's pretty much how I ended up planning it. Just cross-referencing, figuring out what was open, moving stuff around, and then that also allowed me, knowing I was on foot and knowing I was taking public transportation, I didn't pick bars that were way too far from each other. That I would have to be like, shit, I gotta lift it. Which we kind of broke that rule. When we went to Canlis, because Canlis is really hard to get to in general. It's just not really by anything. Beautiful restaurant though. We'll talk about that later. And then, when we left Hotcakes, and we went over to Spanassi. And there's Artusi, which is actually the bar portion of them. And if we would have walked up the street a little bit behind them, we would have seen Spanassi.
You're lying.
No, I told. That was one of the places actually that James, hey James, recommended, and he was like, "Oh yeah, Spanassi," and I was like, "Dude, it's not Spanassi. It was called Artusi's," and he was like, "What?" And he goes, That sounds, Spanisi. And he was like, that sounds familiar. And he looked it up and he goes, that's the bar right next to it. And I was like, oh, damn it. And I was like, I'd much rather have that. Dingfelder's, was it Dingfelder's? Dingfelder's was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
That's probably would have spent the same amount.
Yeah, for sure. But at least we had good pasta that was totally hot.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been fucking hot. That's very true. Freaking. So I got into town. I wonder if I just turn off my. Oh yeah, you're good. So I got into town like at 10 o'clock in the morning Friday. I flew out early Friday from San Jose. Decided to go to San Jose instead, just because I didn't want to deal with SFO.
So Friday.
Yeah. Didn't want to deal with SFO's traffic, especially if it's just domestic. And then flew out, landed, and then kind of just hit the ground running. Took the link. Daniel told me about the link, so I looked it up and got an Orca card. Oh yeah, side note, I gotta hit your lady up, see if she wants my Orca card. I still got like $20 on it. And then
that's a good idea.
And then hit that. Got dropped off in Chinatown, the Chinatown area. Took a couple pictures of Chinatown. Super beautiful.
I never been in Chinatown.
Yeah, they have a Chinatown gate that's like twice the size of the San Francisco Chinatown gate. They're trying to make up for something. Yeah, seriously.
Gate, how many blocks?
It's not the size of the gate. It's what goes through it. So nice.
And how much is behind it?
Yeah, how much is behind it? And get lost in that thing.
Lost in Chinatown.
Lost in Chinatown.
Big trouble.
So I landed there because Salumi is right around the corner. Salumi was the first place I wanted to hit. Salumi was established in 99 by the Batalis, actually by Papa Batali.
Mario Batali?
Mario Batali's dad, yeah. And then they sold it to someone else. Yeah, you gotta put on the orange Crocs before you walk in. No, and
some sexual harassment.
Yeah. Just grab grab whoever's next to you. And
I'll tell you look a lot like the prosciutto. All right, that's enough of that.
You know they do the prosciutto, right?
You got to see the light through it. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ!
I'm trying to stand.
Hang you up like cured meat. Anyway, so I went to Salumi and walked in. I'll be posting up videos and stuff. We're also going to have a really big video on at
patreon.com/localdrunks.
We have like a 1 second lag. I'll see if I can delete that during the thing. And then
bear with us, folks.
Yeah, Daniel tells us.
We're making it work.
Yeah, exactly. So went to Salumi and walked in and asked the guy, I go, what do you recommend? Do you recommend your cold cut sandwich, like your classic Italian combo, or do you recommend your porchetta? And he goes, oh, the classic combo. And I was like, cool, man. And I thought about it for a second. And I was like, sorry, dude, I'm going to be that asshole. I will take the porchetta.
I'm not going to listen to your opinion.
I'm not going to listen to your opinion. Dude, it's like, it was a cold day. It was a hot sandwich. I should have just ordered it. I do not regret it, though. That shit looked delicious. It was super delicious. Check out Instagram.com/localdrunksalumi.
Partner.
That's our OnlyFans.
Hell yeah.
Local
48 hours with the
Just me, just jamming porchettas down my throat.
That'll be one of our tiers.
That'll be one of the tiers. Yeah. The porchetta tier. $18 a month.
$18 a month. You can slice me up between some bun.
Yeah, dude. I would have gotten both sandwiches, but the sandwich was like $18 a pop. So I was like, dude, it's one or the other.
Good God.
But that porchetta,
so expensive, dude.
That's the other thing we got to talk about Seattle. We'll talk about it at the end of this one before we go to the next one, because we're just talking about Friday here, and Saturday I hit way more spots. But yeah, we'll do. We'll put it under topic of discussion. Seattle prices. There we go. Look at that. You can hear us. We're working while we're working. You're welcome, folks. We do it for you guys. If you haven't left yet, sorry. So hit Salumi. Yeah. So hit Salumi, and then I got a text from Wes, and he was like, "Hey, if you're ever down in Chinatown area, you should hit Zeitgeist." And I literally was walking out of Salumi, so I just hung a right because I'd passed Zeitgeist on my way to Salumi. Walked in the Zeitgeist, took a picture of it, took a picture of everything, talked to the barista, super nice guy. I always like to get a shot of espresso and maybe a cappuccino, but since I drank a coffee on the plane. I was like, I'll just get a shot of espresso and a little bit of club soda. So I got that.
Nice.
Kind of helps you not have that coffee breath after when you drink club soda.
You drink airplane coffee?
Yeah. Well, it was by Stumptown.
Down.
It was
Stumptown?
yeah, Stumptown, dude. So I was like, Alaska Airlines has a deal with them, and it was actually pretty good.
Okay.
Just got my regular, black coffee with a sugar packet, and then take some of the bitterness off of the drip, and then Zeitgeist got espresso, pretty solid espresso, and then I started heading up, and then by then it was probably like 11 o'clock, and I was like, well, it's time for a drink. Stumbled into this waterfall. And that the UPS built, because UPS was founded there, and at the 100-year anniversary, they built like this waterfall inside the city. Super nice. That'll be up on the video as well. And then I asked, and then the security guard there looked like he could drink. So I was like, "What do you recommend?" And I did the same thing I did to Salumi. He recommended like 3 spots. I looked them up on Google. They didn't look like the spot I wanted to be in at that time. They seemed like a spot I would end up getting stuck at for like hours and hours. So I was like, you know what, let me figure out if I can actually, damn, look at me, dude, look at this, is fucking Harkonnen status right now, bro. Harkonnen. Bring me my boys.
Bring me the boy. It's more Nosferatu.
Yeah, it probably was. But yeah, well, father. It's the father and son, right? Because the father played Harkonnen, the son played Nosferatu.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so they have the same voice.
Goddamn Skarsgård, dude.
The Skarsgård, they're everywhere. I got a case of the Skarsgårds back in '97. All over
I got Skarsgård in my voice.
Yeah, we had a coworker last week with the Skarsgårds. Anyway.
Shit. There you go. You done did it now.
Yeah.
You done did it now.
That's it. There you go. You got to put the weed down first, and then there we go.
I could use some of that patience as a single father, brother.
So then I posted it up, and I'm like, it's 11 o'clock. I could drink hard liquor. I could drink wine. So there's a wine bar that was around, an Italian spot that had a lot of wine around the corner called Bar Sosta. So I went over there, and they were closed. And I was like, son of a bitch. I go, they should be open at like 11. And I started looking around and stuff. They weren't really open yet. There's a guy behind the bar. So I knocked, and he looked at me. He just turned around and walked away. And I'm like, yeah, they're definitely not open. But then I looked around, and right next to them was General Purpose, which is like a donut shop and a coffee house. And I was like, I can go for a donut and a coffee. It's only been, 10 minutes since my last espresso.
Jesus.
So I walked in, got a lemon curd filled sugar donut, classic.
Ooh.
And then got a little cortado, a little callback.
Damn, bro, just double espresso, quadruple espresso.
And then I asked the lady where to go. She told me a bunch of stuff that I already had on my list. I go, great, that's awesome. These are, big things. It means big things are happening.
Big things. Stay tuned.
But unfortunately, most of the stuff didn't open until if not noon, 4 o'clock. So I ended up walking up, saw that there was a rooftop bar that I missed when I was Google mapping at the Smith Tower. So I was heading up there, and then I saw this house with chicken legs, and I go, that's the symbol for Baba Yaga. And it was actually Baba Yaga. It's a bar right off this park, and ended up recording it, walking in, talking to this guy named Noah, super nice guy. Bought a Bit Burger. Kind of like definitely they have a music, it's a 2-story. The bottom story is a music venue. Top story is kind of like just a hangout spot. A lot of seating. Yeah. Cool back bar though. Hit it off with the dude. I got a Bit Burger, like I said, and then I got a shot of Fernet, and then he threw a shot of Westland at me. And he was like, have you heard of Westland before? And I go, actually, I had a few. And he goes, but he threw me like a shot of the reserve. And he was like, yeah, my buddy distills here. And I was like, sweet. Drank it up, chatted with him, gave him my card, and then cut out to the Smith Tower. But yeah, Baba Yaga's a cool spot. It's funny because I actually mentioned it to another bartender. He was like, ew. And I was like, all right, man, whatever it is.
Like that?
Yeah, like that. He was like, ew, Baba Yaga's. And I was like, yeah, they're like new though, like within the last 6 months, I want to say. Maybe.
Oh, so they're airing hating on him? Ugly stepchild syndrome?
Yeah, for sure.
Took our business, you.
Yeah, seriously. He's probably just mad. So I went to Smith Tower. I wanted to check out the rooftop bar. Costs $10.50 to get up to the rooftop.
Nah, see, that's some bullshit.
Observation deck.
Fuck out of here. What is this, the one tower? How many stories is it?
Yeah. 2.5, bro. And then if you count the basement, 3.5.
Above the house.
And then
that'll be $10, please.
Yeah. So it cost me like $10.50 to get up there. And then that's where I found out that cocktails cost a lot of money in Seattle. Because it was an $18 cocktail. It was a pretty good cocktail. It was bijou and stuff. It's like the rage up there right now.
Yeah.
And
that's crazy.
It tasted pretty good. And then I took a video of walking around. But I'm like, oh, 18, it's probably because it's Smith Tower and it's expensive. Now, literally, I think I went to the Penny Royal Diller Room. Like, every bar I went to, like, 16 was entry level for cocktails. 18 was, like, the average. And then some bars, like Cannon and stuff, people who really focus on cocktails in general, it was, like, 22, like, 20 to 22. It was nuts to me. Yeah, it was I thought drinking in the city was expensive. Like, we're barely hitting now, like, $18 is kind of like the high-end average.
Don't tell them that, bro.
Yeah, but 16 is like, it seems 14, 16 still seems to be the average in the city. 14 is like the average in Oakland. You get some $16 cocktails in Oakland. Got done with Smith Tower. I was only going to hit bars for like no more than 30 minutes, one drink at each bar. Found that there was a pub around the corner called Allen Thistle that was open. Walked over there, no more than 7 minutes. Walked in, got myself a Guinness, took a quick video, got another Guinness. Too many Guinnesses. Oh yeah, and then I paid for my very first $11 Guinness pint.
Good. God,
yeah, average about $9 to $9.50 a pint, but this one was $11. I'm like, does this shit come straight from Ireland?
Yeah. How did it taste? Maybe it has such quality in the fucking regular. I had this shit from the little house.
Yeah, they had a ton of it seems that locally, like, there's a crap ton of craft beer in Seattle in general. So, like, a lot of the local guys are about $8 to $9 a pint. So, if you're up there and drinking beer and balling on a budget, that's probably your go-to. But one of the only beers I drink now is Guinness. So, it's like, if I see it on draft, I have to get it. Much to the, disgust of my wallet.
About the fucking fullness of your stomach, dude.
Yeah, no, seriously, fucking hell. But yeah, Allen Thistle was pretty cool. Met a couple locals, talked to the bartender. Everyone was super nice. And then I headed up the hill, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to the Diller Room. People were like, oh, that's up the hill. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
like an intimidating.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't think you're going to make it. And I go, I drink in the city. So, like, and I tell them, I go, we have hills so steep.
Calves, bro.
Yeah, dude. I should have put it on the bar and pulled up my pant leg. But I told them, I go, we have hills so steep that we put steps on them. We put steps on these motherfuckers.
Facts. That was facts.
But went to the Diller Room. Diller Room was cool. Really cool menu, like kind of like a hand-drawn style menu. And then ended up heading up to, and then got some recommendations. They had a crap ton of Japanese whiskey. I guess that guy's like a whiskey enthusiast.
Oh, shit.
And then we were actually by there. I think we might have walked to buy it when we were walking around on Sunday.
Damn it.
And then that was Diller. And then I went to Penny Royal. Mm-hmm. Met another local there. And bought the round of drink. Bought the bar round of St. George. Bro. Oh, yeah. I'm rich. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. It was like fucking $12 pour. So anyways, I was like, what are we drinking?
What are they pouring? They pouring lobsters?
No, they're pouring that Terroir.
Ooh, that's good.
Good, yeah. So it was worth it. And no one there had ever had it, and they all liked it. And then that local was like, you got time for one more spot? And they go, yeah. And they're like, let's go to Black Cat. It's right up the street. So walked up to Black Cat, walked in. It's classic, like a neighborhood bar. Had a Fernet. had a beer, closed out. They were going to go to get Thai food, but I had a reservation at Canlis.
Yeah, you can't pregame that.
Oh, definitely. If I would have eaten it, I would have been way too full, and I would have forced myself to eat it, and I would have been really mad at myself. So I took a quick power nap, got dressed, and then...
How drunk were you before? At this point. How drunk were you before this? After Pennyroyal? Black Cat?
You know, I don't think I was extremely... I don't think I was intoxicated right away, but I think the longer I sat and waited to go to get ready and go to Canlis, the more it like hit me. Definitely like the shower and the sleep definitely helped.
The crying in the shower.
Yeah, the drinking. The shower beer in the shower really helped. And then, and then got ready, got my suit out, you know, and then because it is required to like business casual is the minimum, but they like people in sport coats and stuff. There was a couple of guys who were not in sports coats there. They just showed up in like, you know, like a sweater, a V-neck sweater, you know, they all had collars, but they didn't have like suits per se. So I was kind of surprised. They look like they just had a long day golfing. Just wanted to kind of hang out at a bar and hit on the waitress and make her feel uncomfortable.
They have Batali Brothers as well.
The Batali, yeah. They actually used to own Salumi. So, but anyway, so yeah.
So you go take a shower, take a power nap, which is a great move, by the way. So anybody that's going to binge drink.
Yeah.
Power nap. Midday power nap.
So anyway.
And then you hit the Canlis?
Yeah, so Canlis. So I get there, walk in, super pretty restaurant. I ended up lifting there. It's one of the only places I ended up lifting just because it was pretty difficult getting up there via public transit.
Hop off the bus, go straight into the fucking Canlis. Like, sir, we saw what you just came from. You leave.
Like, you got to enter into the back.
Oh, you need the help.
Yeah.
Hola, señor. No atrás, por favor.
So okay, cool. So get in. They're like, hey, it's going to be a minute for your table. They're just cleaning up. I got no problem. They're like, let's sit at the bar. Beautiful bar. Guy named Jose is the bar manager over there. Created most of the drinks. Really knows what he's doing. Do not speak Spanish to the Spanish-speaking bar in a white restaurant in a primarily white town. He didn't. He was having none of it.
Damn. Okay, shut up, bro.
He's like, dude,
shut the fuck up. You're gonna blow my cover.
Bring it in. They're gonna throw me in the back.
You know how long it took them to convince them that I spoke English?
And to tell them I was one of those Latinos, you know, the German ones. Anyway, so
I'm German Latino.
So Dan got a really nice martini from him, super tasty, and then had some nice oil, like olive oil drops on there. Really flavorful, and took a sip out of it, and next thing you know, they're like, hey, your table's ready. So they sat me down, followed me. It's so funny because they grabbed it and put it on a fucking platter, and I'm like, I got it. And they're like, you need to let me take this. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. We had to do that. We had to do that at Quince too. We can't let you just mob with it.
Yeah, I understand. So sat down. They sat me down. My server came by, told me I had 3 options, and then they would fill in plates between the options. The first option was sturgeon, winter squash, or lamb.
Ooh.
Second option was sea bream, mushroom teriyaki, or American Wagyu.
Oh, shit.
And the third course was going to be, there's either 3 courses for, 3 options for each course. And the third course was going to be Nilla pie, which is hazelnut chocolate and coffee, citrus parfait, or figgy toffee pudding. And then if you want, you can also add the canless salad, which is like $24 per person, which I thought about, but then I realized that it might have been too much, so I didn't. Well, I'm glad I didn't, but I got pictures of someone making it and maybe a video. But yeah, the first one I picked was sturgeon that had that little caviar, on it on the picture.
The beautiful, the Bellini.
Once again, you have the Bellini. Once again, we're talking about caviar. Welcome back to the podcast, caviar.
Yeah, we can get away from it.
Can't get away from it, dude.
All that good taste.
Hey, anyone who makes caviar, we are for sale. And so the sturgeon was really good. Number 2, I got the American Wagyu. I just had to break it up a little bit because also I would have went all seafood. And the third one, I got that Nilla pie, the hazelnut chocolate coffee, which had it was like a mousse, like a coffee mousse with the chocolate freaking leaves on it. You remember that picture?
Wow.
Oh
yeah, I do remember.
Hella good, dude. And the Mega Wagyu was hella good too. And then they would bring things in between. But it was exquisite. It was very nice. The dishes were delicious. Had like 20 different servers. It was phenomenal. One of the guys came up and he was like, "Oh, you're definitely industry." And I go, "Oh yeah?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I can tell because you're watching everything." And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Like, he can't not watch everything.
What else can you do, bro?
Yeah, he's like, you're freaking everyone out, bro. But it was pretty cool. After that, they kind of started congregating a little bit at the table, which was kind of nice. And then also, every single time they brought a freaking plate out, I'd shove my face in it and, like, inhale, like, 10 times. And then look at it, and then do it one more time, and then start eating it. So they're probably like, yeah, pretty much.
Like, this is good.
Like a chocolate starfish, bro. So.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And then they were like, "Oh, do you want to get a bottle?" It's after I finished my cocktail. Like, "You want a bottle of wine?" And I go, "Yeah, sure. I'll see the wine list. I'll check it out." Dude, would not be able to afford like 90% of those fucking bottles. And then
you can't drink fucking 2015 Salon.
Yeah,
it's only like $1,500.
Dude, I think their most expensive wine was like $3,200. I think 32, I think. But they also had a tasting of, oh man, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was a spirits tasting for each one, and it was something absurd, like $900 a person or something like that.
For spirits?
Yeah, for each. It was like high-end spirits for every single, and they bring you someone for every single course.
What the hell?
Yeah, super nuts. But yeah, no, they're like, they came back and they're like, "Did you pick something?" And I go, "Not yet." And they're like, "Oh, we'll send us sommelier out." And I go, "You don't have to waste their time." And they're like, "No, we'll be right back." Took off. I started panically like just searching through it, and I go, and of course, like every other, like it's all by region and then by style. And I'm like, I know it's going to be cheap, Spain. So I flipped to it, looked at the Spain's wines. They had the cheapest wine on the whole menu, $60. I go, I know that thing's $20 in the stores, but whatever, I'll get it.
For sure.
Som comes out. They're like, what? Can you want me to walk you through the wine? I go, nope. Sorry for wasting your time. I'll take this one.
Look, I have this much money.
I have this much money. Please do not rob me. Ridiculous.
I'll take you a box.
Yeah, dude. But it was cool, man. It was definitely one of those things that so did that. Ended up having like 2 glasses left after I finished my meal and the dessert. Yeah. So I just powered through that. Got some recs from people who work there. I go, hey, I know you guys probably party here and stuff, but you guys recommend anywhere. So a lot of the stuff I already had on. They pretty much were just going to Belltown. But a lot of the stuff I had on my list already. I kind of had Screwdriver and some other places I didn't make it to, which we'll talk about in the next episode. Exactly why. But then it was a great experience. Caught a lift.
What was the best course in your opinion?
Oh man, that first one's hard to beat Because I was the most sober. No, the first one's hard to beat. That's sturgeon.
I remember that one.
Yeah, because it was like a whipped like sturgeon. Like, let me see if I can pull up the thing.
It's delicious.
Yeah, the sturgeon's so fucking good. And then that dessert was phenomenal too, just because it was just like I wasn't expecting it to have like it was a foam, but I wasn't expecting it or a cream, but I wasn't expecting it to be like blow me away. So that was freaking wild. But yeah, it was probably those two. The sturgeon though, that first one was really freaking good. And then they had like this oh yeah, I don't know, man. Just fucking everything was pretty fucking tasty. It's hard to.
Well, I mean, I'm glad we got in before the changing of the guards, because as we know, but maybe now whoever listening to this episode is finding out. Aisha Ibrahim is leaving Canlis after her reign, which has lasted quite a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And they are now changing in April. She's leaving. She's going to go do her own thing. So you got the last of the Mohicans on that menu there.
Yeah, no, man. It was fucking really fucking good. Yeah, thanks for like getting me a reservation. That shit was delicious.
I was like, oh shit. I was like, right when I saw that shit leaving, I was like, we gotta go now.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta get it on the pod. We gotta put it in. Because I'll never experience it.
Yeah, she literally announced it like 2 days before, right? 2 or 3 days before.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And I told them to book now because everyone's gonna make their reservations, and then there's not gonna be any space. So.
Yeah. I told one of the bartenders, I think at the doctor's office, that it's a bar we'll talk about next episode. So stay tuned. Keep it locked. And they were like, "Oh, that's good that you went because it's going to be completely different, like in a month." And I was like, "Yeah."
It's not even open. I mean, in this climate, you know.
Yeah, seriously.
It might just be best to shut it down or just sell it off completely. But I'm sure it's too big of a moneymaker at this point.
Yeah.
Also changed hands a million times. Our concept from the original chefs and shit. From Cameron himself to now.
Yeah. So, but that was a good wrap up for the first day. I was up at him the next day by like 6:45, and then I was out about catching the bus and then going into Capitol Hill. But we'll talk about that in the next episode. But yeah, two things I want to talk about is I think because Seattle has such a defined like, hey, we are like a coffee town, you know?
Yeah, because the whole Starbucks thing.
Because the whole Starbucks thing lays like the whole Starbucks thing leans it towards that way. But a lot of restaurants, a lot of bars, like I would have probably hit more bars at restaurants this first day, but it just took so long for things to open. And I didn't want to get too many drinks. Like before I went to, and like 10 bars, restaurants, and places to eat is nothing to slouch at. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what like the average people do. Like not even a night, like over the weekend. You know? Yeah. But like I told cooks before, and I told some people before, and a couple of bartenders, I'm like, hey, they're like, oh, are you gonna come back? And I go, probably not. I go, I'm like,
right.
Yeah, I'm 40. You know, and you know the places I'm visiting. Yeah, thanks, man. And we just lost our last two listeners. Oh, that's my wife. She's like, you're that old. She's just slipping me divorce papers.
I'm out.
Yeah, as we speak.
Take these kids.
Yeah, she's like,
see you later.
Yeah, keep these kids. I'm bouncing. Find someone younger.
She's like, I'm up to Seattle.
Yeah, seriously. I told him, I was like, unless a place is really, really phenomenal, then I'm only going to go to a spot once. Like, I won't go to a spot over and over and over, you know, unless it's like something that's like, shit, they have this dish and I can't live without it.
Yeah.
That being said, too, like, we live in a pretty on the cutting edge metropolis, you know, or metropolises with San Francisco and Oakland right there. and they're like constantly doing new things all the time. So it's just like it's hard to validate going back to a city that
Right.
it's an hour and a half flight. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, no, that's nuts. But sending it, getting it on, flying up there, and then taking a whole weekend just to hit a couple spots. It's just, excuse me. It's like not. It's really not the bag, but but it definitely is a little more difficult hitting as many spots as possible when places don't up until like either lunch or right before dinner. And then like a lot of those places too were closing between 11 and 1. Like a lot of them were done by 12. And I'm just like, damn, dude, like how do I keep drinking if I have to go home? Like,
so it's not a bender-friendly city, is what you're saying.
Not a bender-friendly city, unless you do it the Local Drunks podcast way.
Hey, there we
go. You gotta plug it back. Hey, Local Drunks were for sale. Anyway, so and then prices too. That was definitely one of those things. Like, talk about it a little bit more tomorrow as far as food and stuff. But like, I feel like I was paying an extra $3 to $5 for a plate that I can get just as good, if not better, in my area. And like I said, nothing really just stood out in general. It was like good stuff outside of the can list. Like everything else, it tasted good. Like the Badique I'll talk about tomorrow, or like the 2 different types of eggs Benedict I got from 2 different spots, or is that all I ate? And then of course Dingfellas. Dang, I didn't eat shit this whole fucking thing. I had salumi, I had canless, and then and then I had an eggs Benny for breakfast Saturday. A Badique, like a little pastry dish we'll talk about next episode. And then I didn't eat anything for lunch. Oh, and then we ate deluxe for lunch, a burger. And then for dinner, Dingfelders. That's right. We'll talk about the next episode too. And then but yeah, dude, I should have eaten a lot more.
Yeah, but also you had a stomach full of alcohol. So.
Yeah, stomach full of alcohol. I did text so I started a group chat with all the work people, and I was just like, I am much too full.
I'm sure everybody loved that.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm much too fucking full to keep continuing. Yeah, sorry, Justin. He was listening to this.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, and I was like, I need someone else to eat half this food.
Like, we're in a different state.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Now I can understand why influencers, especially if you're hitting multiple spots in a night, they just don't eat all their food. Because we went to that one event a couple months ago. And they literally took a bite. One of them took a bite out of everything, and the rest of them took a bite out of like the first 2 things, and didn't even touch them.
Yeah, they've been doing that bullshit. I'm like, just think people have friends.
Yeah. So now I understand. I don't like agree with it because I pretty much ate almost everything that came across my path. So it's possible.
Yeah.
But by the time I got to my first real bar on Saturday, I was pretty fucking miserable. Like I was downing like aperitifs and digestives just to and club sodas just to make sure my stomach wasn't gonna make me fucking Ralph anywhere.
Well, speaking of it, should we go into Saturday, or did you want to hold that for another day?
Let me talk about the first 2 spots. Or since I talked about the Badique, I'll go up to there. And then the next time, when I start getting to actual bars, then we'll go into the next episode.
That sounds good.
But yeah, so woke up the next morning feeling fresh as a daisy. Smelling like I just drank 3 bottles of fucking cheap-ass tequila. And yeah, seriously. The Don J's. And then only the best for my guests. And then yeah, we're coming for you, Davey. That's right. Mr. Smith. D. Smith.
He's getting buzzballs, bro. He's getting buzzballs.
Buzzballs. Prepare yourself.
You're going to get swifty off that shit.
Yeah. And then, so I ended up catching a bus back into downtown Seattle. My hotel was centrally located, but only if you,
it was fitting that you reeked of alcohol, right?
Yeah, plus I reeked of alcohol, so had my own, public limo. And then hit downtown, cut back over to Capitol Hill. Probably took no longer than Oh my goodness! We have to record that. We have to record the second. We have to record the second episode next week. I'm pretty fucking tired.
That's fine.
I had a long day at work too.
Oh shit.
Anyway, so by the time I left the hotel, got in the train, got in the bus, went down and got to Capitol Hill. It'd probably been like 30 minutes, 35 minutes, which isn't too bad because I had to cut like back into downtown Seattle to transfer.
Yeah.
And then I should have just taken the link. Anyway, so the link goes there because I just realized that when we left Rondo, the link was right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the link's everywhere, folks.
Link it.
So got there, went around the corner to this place called Overcast Coffee. This place I had scoped out a little bit earlier. Waited about 5 minutes from the open. The guy Luke let me in, super nice guy. Was able to grab a shot and also a cappuccino. Asked him, hey, what's good? And he goes, what do you like to drink? I go, drink anything. But, you know, like usually I'll make sure to get a shot of espresso and something else just so I can get the full, you know, scope of what you're serving. So he recommended this Ethiopian that they were pouring right there for espresso. Super delicious. And then also recommended this honey lavender, I think, syrup. And he was like, I don't like syrups, but he's like, I actually kind of detest them, but this one was pretty good. I'll actually use this one. And I'm like, well, fuck, if it's pretty good to make a non-believer believer, then I'll fucking do it. So got a little cappuccino.
Syrup, so hold on.
What's that?
Hey, syrups?
Syrups?
How does he detest syrups? Like the pump one?
I think he just kind of like doesn't agree with the fact that like he doesn't like syrups because it overshadows the coffee too so much. And it's kind of he's like a coffee purist, so he's just like, no, like you're drinking coffee, you're drinking coffee.
Beans and water.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all I need. I mean, that's all I had that one song. We talked about that later, but yeah, okay, makes sense.
So, ended up getting done there, read my book for about 20 minutes, and then I walked down a couple blocks down the street to Oddfellows. Oddfellows is like a breakfast spot that has a full bar as well. And ordered myself a shot of Montenegro because for some reason, Seattle isn't really a big Fernet town. Super wild to me. And just got a shot of Montenegro and a club soda, kind of selling my stomach a little bit because I started realizing that maybe I was still a little drunk from the night before.
You don't say a bottle of Spanish wine after a day of binge drinking.
Dude. I could have kept going.
I wouldn't believe it.
I could have kept going.
Savage, brother.
Yeah. And then end up doing that. And then what else we do? Oh, and then I order some like a smoked ham eggs Benny. That was pretty tasty. Finished up. Took a couple pictures of the patio. There's a super small, quaint patio, but it was closed because it started raining that morning. And then was like, well, what am I going to do next? Started looking around. There was a place called Tradewinds that was open. Seems to be a popular thing in Seattle is that you have like a shop with attached to a cafe. Most of the shops seem to be, especially in Capitol Hill, bike shops, bicycle shops.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like buying bikes, buying parts, getting their bikes tuned up, stuff like that. And barista was super nice as well. I bike, bro. I bike and Cortado. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Dude, everyone up there, when they were in shorts, calves were bigger than my head. And my head is huge. And so walked in, ordered a cortado, used the bathroom, came out, drank my cortado, and then headed up to Badique Bagel. Oh, Baguette. Badique is like a, I think it's like a Turkish, like bread that could either be sweet or savory. I got the 3 cheese. I asked the person, no, it's Albanian cheese triangles recipe. Oh, no, that's not. Yeah, that's about right. Those are cheese triangles, though.
She's crying.
But yeah, it says Albanian. Okay, cool. Shit. But yeah, you kind of cook it. They cook them in like cinnamon roll shapes.
Damn,
Or then you bake it, and then I
roll
got
me
it.
up, Daddy.
What's up?
I said, roll me up, Daddy.
Yeah. And then, but they ended up cooking that or baking that, and they put some sour cream on it on the plate, and kind of like dip it in there and try it. I usually tend to eat more savory, especially for pastries. And then I had the barista make me whatever she wanted. She made like an orange zest latte. That was pretty tasty. But I literally took like a drink of the latte, then took a bite of the barrique, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? So I was so full, but it was so good.
You're gathering content for the Local Drunks podcast.
That's like, heck yeah, I was. But I sat there and stared off into the distance and contemplated life. And then I sent a message. Yeah, pretty much. And then when I got done there, I finished everything I could. And finished the coffee, ate like 3/4 of the barrique, and then dropped it off in the bus tubs. Surprisingly, everyone knows, unless it's like a restaurant where you sit down and get served, like if you you have to bust your own shit. So there wasn't one table every single time I like walked into like the 3 to 4 thing, like restaurants that you walk up and do counter service. Not one table was like empty table had shit on it. Like everyone picked up their shit and threw it away. So it was kind of nice.
Unless you go to a place like that with an 8-year-old, like my nephew, who loves to leave everything on the fucking table.
Yeah, seriously. His fucking sock was on the table last time we were there. I was like, what the hell did you get your sock it off your shoe? It's my spare sock. It's my emotional support sock. Fucking hell.
Fucking kids.
Its name is Skibbity. Last name Riz. So stupid.
Fucking kids.
Dumb. Yeah. So we freaking did that, and then ate, drank, and then that was pretty much the end of day one. I walked by Cannon, so I made a note to go to Cannon later. But do I make it to Cannon? Do I? I do. Yeah. Well, tune in next week. We'll let you know what the answer is.
Tune in next week.
But yeah, no, that pretty much ended the first half.
This is the second time filming this actual iteration.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I think that's a good place to.
Yeah, it's a good place to stop.
To leave it suspenseful for part 2 of your 48-day bender, 48-hour
bender. Seriously, felt like 48 days. But anyway, you can find us on Instagram at localdrunkspod.
Local Drunks.
You're half second behind.
Instagram, YouTube. Am I delayed on you?
Yeah.
It's not gonna work, brother. Just say it.
Yeah. Patreon, and then also
coming from you live over here in Mendocino County, or actually Olympia to Washington.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit
just like 11:50.
Hilarious. But yeah,
Patreon. Yes, that's right. So, Local Drunks podcast.
Jesus Christ. Patreon.com/localdrunkspod. We're gonna have videos of Taiwan up. We're gonna have videos of. Should I post that Taiwan one up like ASAP?
I'm down.
Okay, cool.
I'm just gonna make a reel for it just to promote it.
Okay, cool. I'll do it tomorrow. So there's something for the weekend, and then
I just got the photos back to you. So
nice. Cool.
Yeah.
And then doing some more posts about Seattle and stuff. So keep it locked on Instagram as well. And then looking at doing some more 48 hours in series. So we're gonna hit a spot up for 48 hours to see if we can hit as many spots as possible.
The Bender series.
That we should be calling it. Local Drunks presents the Bender series.
The Bender series.
And I showed up to work one day. Everyone's like, "We thought you were gonna call out." And I was like,
"Ain't no bitch,
ain't no bitch, bro. You don't understand how I roll." Anyway, that's fucking funny.
You're like, "I'll be in the pilot's lounge."
Yeah, wake me up when my appointment gets here. Hilarious. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you very much for this Local Drunks. My name is Saul.
I'm Daniel.
And keep it locked to Local Drunks Pod anywhere you get your podcasts or videos. And we'll see you guys later.
Yeah, sip something nice.
Ooh, sip something nice. All right.
Maybe a little longer than me.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Local Drunks Podcast. Tune in next week to hear more about what we drank, ate, and what belligerent things we got into. Until then, sip something nice.